My name is Chiara Cocco. I'm a postdoctoral research associate for the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Caucus based at Heriot-Watt University. Just a little bit of context, the EDI Caucus is a multidisciplinary project which is being funded by the UKRI, UK Research and Innovation Council, and the British Academy. And it's led by Professor Kate Sang, which somebody has already mentioned. And the work of the caucus is broadly to look at the research and innovation ecosystem in the UK and embed EDI in different areas of the sector. The caucus operates through 3 work streams. One is looks at the career and life cycle. Work stream 2 looks at the research process and how EDI can be embedded in the process of research, looking at bias, for example, in the peer review process and understanding who gets published and who gets not and why. And the 3rd work stream looks at the organization of work, so how to embed equality, diversity, and inclusion, but also understand how accessible research and innovation workspace are and can be. The work stream can operate and interact with each other. The work stream I work in is the work stream 1, which looks at career and life cycle and how career events interact with life events. So pregnancy, menopause, periods, disability, neurodiversity interacts with promotion, selection, access to career, performance appraisal, and the process of it. The main study that we are conducting in workstream 1 is looking at how people working in the research and innovation ecosystem manage periods, problematic menstruation, perimenopause, and menopause at work. The kind of specificity of it is that the research and innovation includes quite a lot of work environments and job roles, actually, and contract types. So yeah, we have part-time, fixed-term contracts, but also project linked jobs and job roles in terms of like teaching, for example, supervising, or working in labs, lab technicians, and yeah, it links to the work environment. So very different workspaces that are labs, for example, or archives. We've spoken to people who work in a remote environment who do field work. Or people work in oil rigs, for example. So the variety and the breadth of work environments makes this research quite interesting, as we have already addressed. We have already addressed in the previous presentation that there are areas and work environments that are under-researched and overlooked. So the experiences of people working in those spaces and how they manage periods and menstrual health and perimenopause. And obviously the research and innovation, like we tackle different career stages from the postgraduate research to up the ladder to promotion and professorship, and everything in between, and the different challenges that relate to this to the career stages. And we have conducted, so what we've done is to do an evidence review, addressed and understood the gaps in literature. So in terms of like work environments, also the lack of intersectionality in research. And we have conducted over 55 interviews with people working in the sector and sharing their own lived experiences on how they do this. And we have collected a lot of different experiences, and with that we have identified this areas of intervention that are awareness and support, the physical work environment, and work arrangements. So in terms of awareness and support, we have identified the lack of awareness about periods and menopause and perimenopause, and how these topics are still very much stigmatized, especially in a lot of environments that are still male-dominated. The physical work environment, as I said before, different workspaces carry different challenges. So labs, for example, and the type of nature of the work, of, for example, time-sensitive experiments, and how that impact people who need to manage their period and need to go to the toilet, heavy bleeding with very light colored scrubs for no apparent reason in certain cases, or people working in archives who cannot take their own valuables in there. They're also temperature controlled environments, and they are often in buildings that are not accessible and don't have accessible toilets nearby. So having to manage that extra labor to think about where to find your nearest toilet, and sometimes not being able to, or fieldwork as well. So the lack of support and information and awareness and preparation for students going on fieldwork from their supervisors, and in general not having clear guidelines on fieldwork practices that include menstrual health in that. And in terms of like work arrangement, again, the issue of not being able to have the flexibility at work, not being able to have a hybrid arrangement, so to having, like in the labs, for example, having to be on site, and that also, in a sense, clashes with issues of workload. We are talking about a sector that is quite of a high-skilled sector. We're talking about an environment that is really and extreme in itself in terms of like career progression and the output and the expectation on the workers in this particular environment. So the workload is also an issue when you are not able to take any leave and nobody can take over your work, especially in fixed term, very low budgeted projects that are a lot of the cases in academia. And in academia and the research and innovation space. Yeah, we have a lot of like, we gathered a lot of experiences and suggestions from the interviewees, and our next step, which we're carrying out just now, is to work with test sites. So companies, university, learned societies, departments within university that are working with us. And we have set up the co-designing workshop, because I forgot to say the ethos of the caucus is to co-design solution with stakeholders, with people with lived experiences, with people with decision-making power as well, to get together and negotiate solutions that are tailored for that particular work environment, because it's not one size cannot fit all. And each some solutions and some interventions, like for example training and awareness, are overall applicable to everywhere, but some are very particular depending on the work environments. So what we are doing is to set up this co-designing workshop where we facilitate bringing the lived experience there, and for people to negotiate what they are going to trial. And in the next stage, we're going to see how they implement it, assess and evaluate if these interventions are working, and how to get better, and just to for workplaces in the research and innovation space to be more equitable. And yeah, these are just some of the examples. As I said, a lot of toilets and photos of toilets all the time, see what works and what doesn't. So that's quite a good toilet, I'd say, because it's got quite wide range of period products next to the toilet. It's got tampons, but it also got pads. It has a sink in it. The importance of a sink within the cubicle is crucial for people who need to change or change their cup and wash it, for example. And yeah, like the distance from the toilet to the office space or to your workspace, that's also quite crucial, because as I said before, in some buildings, you don't get a toilet close to where you're carrying out your work. And here, in terms of, like, for example, abscess recording, there is a menopause and perimenopause related symptoms that you can track, which is good, but periods, menstruation, there's none. And again, menopause is talked about and it's great. We're talking about it. Things are like, conversation is more open, policies are coming through. Periods are still quite overlooked and stigmatized in a sense. And yeah, as I said before, that's another example of lab. All the coats are white, and we asked specifically, is there an actual reason why they are white? It's like, do you actually need to see if something dangerous has spilled onto you? Not really, it's just the way it is. And it's completely, I'm going over time. Okay, but yeah, you bled through and you're exposed, whereas you can wear a dark colored uniform and that could be peace of mind. And so some interventions are really easy and cost effective. Okay.